గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ ఫ్రెండ్స్. మన తెలంగాణ మీడియా మిత్రులందరికీ మా వేల్టెక్ యూనివర్సిటీ మేనేజ్మెంట్ తరఫున, అధ్యాపకుల తరఫున, సిబ్బంది తరఫున, స్టూడెంట్స్ తరఫున ధన్యవాదాలు తెలియజేస్తూ, ఈ మిత్రులు ఈరోజు మీరంతా బిజీగా ఉంటారనేది అందరికీ తెలుసు. బికాస్ ఆఫ్ GHM elections, in spite of that, you made it very convenient and made it possible to come over here with our invitation. And we are here today to inform you what is the Weldtech University, how it is performing in taking the quality higher education for the benefit of the society. So this Weldtech University was established in 1997 as an engineering college affiliated to Madras University. After 1 year, it is affiliated to Anna University. And 2008, it was recognized because of its standard quality inputs, and by that time all the programs of the college were accredited by MBA. Seeing its progress, MHRD recognized it as a deemed university. From 2009, it starts its activities as the deemed university. Our Honorable President, His Excellency, this is the Colonel Dr. Professor Rangarajan. Dr. Rangarajan was a gold medalist in mechanical engineering. Subsequently, he did the electrical engineering also. He is a double degree graduate. He worked in LCT board. Thereafter, he started his own industry. And with the need of the higher education, particularly in the rural area of Avadi, he started this engineering college under the Telugu minority college. So the management belongs to Telugu people. And today I am happy to say more than 60% are from Telugu background. And this is the university which have number of MOUs, 193 MOUs nationally, internationally. Because our patient has gone all over the world and made about 80 international MOUs. And this university is the first university in India having a MBA Tier 1 accreditation for aeronautical engineering. So this is the first university in aeronautical engineering having a MBA Tier 1 accreditation. And mechanical engineering, it is the first university in South India having Tier 1 accreditation. The Tier 1 accreditation is on Washington Accord, outcome based. And this university is bringing a new concept in outcome based education, and this is giving lot of inputs to other colleges also to dissemination of the knowledge. And very recently this university got MBA accreditation with CGPA of 3.17, which is the highest in Tamil Nadu under the Cycle 1 and accreditation, MBA accreditation among the deemed universities. It is doing lot of innovative research work, and it has a tie-up with more than 2,800 industries partners all the final year students having internship in one or other industry for their final year project. Over 6 months they will take internship in one or other industry and getting the placement there in the organization where they are getting the internship, otherwise the campus placement. All eligible candidates are getting the placement. And the 4 important components all of you know are very important for any institution to grow and establish and ranking as a top institution. One is the management. Here management is a participative management and inclusive management. Here the head of the department, the dean and the directors have a role in the administration, and also we have included alumni who have passed from this institution as a member in statutory boards, that is board of studies and academic council and board of management. And also we have the component of the industries as the members in the statutory bodies. And we have a BOM where the management members are taken from the top cadres. That is the former BITS Pilani Vice Chancellor, Maheshwari, and former Director of DRDO and former Vice Chancellor of Defense University. And last year he received the Padma Shri Award. Dr. Prahlada is also a member. And V. Bhujan Rao, Director General DRDO, the former Director of NSTL, and recently is the Director General of DRDO, is also a member in the board. A strong members are involved in our statutory bodies. And this university is conducting the meetings. A Google Calendar is designed. In the website also you can see the day which people are going to meet and discuss on what matters and disseminate this to the stakeholders. There is a stakeholder involvement in the decision making. The stakeholders are the faculty, students, alumni, industries, parents. They are taking the stakeholders. And this campus is maintaining high discipline. And discipline means there is no compromise for the discipline. And there is every student will tuck in with full hands and clean shave and with a shoe, because they are maintaining it. Because tomorrow they are going to executives, good discipline they are maintaining, and highly secured university. And recently, all of you know that the Chennai is affected by the heavy rains and floods. But I can say this is the only campus is not affected by the rains. So such a care is taken, and this campus has given shelter for many of the employees in the surrounding areas, and alumni who are staying in Chennai also, they are doing the shelter. And we have a very good research going on in WellTech, which you cannot see in the premier institutions like IITs, because we have a research project, collaborative research project, the France, Canada, Sweden, Taiwan, many projects. My friend, our co-VC, Chandrasekhar, is going to tell you the research output. And infrastructure, because the management and the 4 components I told, one is the management, second is the faculty. Highly experienced and qualified faculty, all the disciplines will have, and with the postdoctorates in foreign universities. And we have all experience with outcome-based education and infrastructure. So the infrastructure in the WellTech University is a world-class, I can say, Sir, active classroom concept, this is the first university has introduced. Sir, active classroom concept means, here there is a classroom with tables. Just like hotels, there is a round tables, the tables, that 3-4 students will sit on this table. Just like that, there will be tables accommodating for 15 tables and 60 students. And the two with a collapsible doors, you have the 2 rooms connected. Here in that classroom, the table is act as a whiteboard, and the all walls and also work as the whiteboard. And the students themselves teach each other among each group, and they solve innovative solutions and discuss themselves, interact. There, the teacher is the 60 plus 1. The 61 teachers, 61 students. The teacher is a facilitator. And such a concept has brought. And also we are introducing DCIO concept. This is CDIO. C, conceptualize, design, implement, operate. That's what engineer has to do. The conceptualize means, suppose the concept, they bringing a deep water on this or the gas from the deep earth you have to bring out, or something to innovate. That is innovation. You have to model. You have to model and design, fabricate, then operate. That is implementation and operation and maintain. All these modules, there are 4 labs. One is the conceptual lab, other is design lab, implement lab, operate lab. The students have the pleasure, they go anytime to these labs and have work, because all materials, equipment are available in the particular rooms. They go just like a playground. They will go creating a revenue for creation of the entrepreneurs. So this Welsham University has many innovative programs. So this any day any student is absent, immediately parent receives SMS. And any parent, all parents are given the password. You can see day-to-day progress, day-to-day attendance, day-to-day performance of the student also. So the assessment, student assessment, you can see, because the question paper, if you see, the question paper, the questions containing, because each subject we are calling it as a course. In that, the course objectives, because each course, each subject have some objectives. What for that course is? That CO1, CO2, CO3, CO4, CO5, like this, the course objectives. And when you give a question, what is the course objective, for which course objective the question is framed. The questions also, in the Bloom's taxonomy, there is knowledge levels, the K1 to K6. K1 is just remembrance. K2 is remember, understand. K3 is apply. And then evaluate, synthesis, create. These levels, if you see the question paper, you will see K1, K3, K levels. The levels also will apply. And we are taking the question papers from external paper setters. That is also, so this is the, and also this interaction, the mentoring is very effective in the campus. And anytime, any problem, the mentor is as caretaker. One faculty is a caretaker for the students. Any problem they will convey. And also, we have a Daimler University every first Saturday, and any stakeholder, parent or student or anybody can question. All the officers will sit and have a audio conference and immediately will resolve the problems. So I request our guest who is from Canada, who is having a, because we have many appointments, and every week we will see one professor from R&D or from a premier institution of the foreign institutions will stay. We have a very good guest house with 40 AC rooms, because these guests will come from all over the world, will stay, interact, they will take some classes to the students, and the choice-based grade system you will appreciate. This is the institution, I can say, which have given the 8 components its choice-based categories. That is a program core, elective core, the university elite, and I request our Dr. Rishi Gupta, he is from Canada. He is involving our research projects, and he fortunately is here today with us. I request him to say some feelings about our research work and our MOU, because DST, Department of Science and Technology, National Agency of the Funding, that is giving a funding to this, not to me, because they are funding for both the nations and for interaction exchange of the student program also. I request you, sir, please.
Thank you very much. First of all, this is my 3rd visit to Hyderabad, and it's always very, very pleasant to come to Hyderabad. So first of all, thank you very much to WellTech University for having me here and for the kind hospitality that has been offered so far. I come from the University of Victoria, which is based in British Columbia, Canada, and very, very pleased to be a part of this press release and announce that the international collaboration between WellTech University and the University of Victoria has been funded by an organization called IC Impacts, which stands for India Canada Impacts. It's a federal initiative based out of the University of British Columbia, and there was some amount of money set aside by the federal government in Canada to specifically initiate joint projects with India. So this is one of its kind consortium based out of Canada, and I am told that the competition for the last round for proposals was very, very stiff. There were lots of proposals. If I remember correctly, more than 70 proposals were submitted between India and Canada. One of the requirements for the proposals was to have an academic partner in Canada, one academic partner in India, but at the same time also have industrial partners both in Canada and India. So amongst these 70 plus proposals that were submitted, the one submitted jointly by WellTech, so the one submitted by WellTech University and University of Victoria was successful. The initial grant was in the tune of 1.5 crore rupees, which translates from about $300,000 Canadian. There were some changes that subsequently took place, but the initial award was in the tune of 1.5 crores. So without taking much time, maybe I just quickly talk a little bit about what we have planned in this project. There are a lot of commonalities between India and Canada. We have lots of infrastructure which is in a very, very bad state. And the first thing that comes in mind when we talk about poor infrastructure is actually bridges. So we have lots of bridges in both countries which are in not very good shape. There are some estimates that say that to fix bridges in Canada alone will require more than $10 billion. So that is a lot of money. One method to fix our infrastructure, the first step is to understand what is the condition of the infrastructure. There are a lot of different ways of assessing the condition of infrastructure, such as bridges. And one of the methods is called structural health monitoring. But what we are doing is taking a very, very innovative, very, very unique approach. I am the principal investigator from University of Victoria. My counterpart, Dr. Balasubramaniam, is also here with us. And he is the co-PI, or my PI from India. And as was mentioned a little while ago, the Department of Science and Technology in India has matched to a certain extent the money for this project. So what we are doing is, it's a very, very unique approach to monitoring our bridges. In India, we are going to focus specifically on railway bridges to begin with. And what is exciting about this project is we are looking at techniques that we are going to use unmanned aerial vehicles, also known as UAVs or drones. And we are investigating the efficacy of using sensors that can be mounted on these UAVs. So you could assess the condition of your bridge without stopping any railway traffic, any road traffic, and this could be done remotely. So my counterpart, Dr. Balasubramaniam, is very excited to take the first test flight, and I'm sure he'll be very excited to be behind the remote control to drive the UAV, and we are very, very excited to be a part of this. Again, thank you to Weltec University for having me here, and look forward to a 3-year international partnership. So we are in the first year right now. We have 2 more years to go. We look forward to a great collaboration, lots of training of students, all the way from undergraduate students to master's students to PhD students. In fact, I'm told even postdoctoral students at Weltec University. So lots of exchanges are planned. The principal investigators and students will be visiting Canada, and likewise PIs and students will be visiting from Canada to Weltec University. So again, thank you for having me here, and if there are any questions, we can take them later.
Rishi, what is the role of the students in this project, IC Impacts?
Right, so in the IC Impacts, the one thing that is treated very highly both by the Department of Science and Technology in India and IC Impacts in Canada is the training of students. So while the students take their academic courses, whether it be at Weltec or at University of Victoria, the second part of their degree is usually a dissertation. So students will be actively working in development of UAVs here at Weltec, and in Canada we'll be developing sensor technology that can be mounted on the UAVs. So students will get the best of the academic world and some very, very hands-on experience in solving some real problems in both countries.
So their part is only developing the, one part is UAVs, one part is sensors.
Exactly, exactly. But the most interesting part is the combination of both.
Okay, and the end product will be utilized by the
Indian and Canadian.
Canada government?
Both
Indian government.
Indian and
Canada government.
So one thing maybe I should mention, which you raised actually is a very good point, is the focus of this entire project is not just research, but implementation. So the implementation with one of our collaborators is Indian Railways. So we'll be working with them, and the counterpart in Canada is the BC Ministry of Transportation. So we are hoping to work with them to assess condition of Canadian bridges also.
Product is ready to launch.
The product is, the technology exists already. The UAV will be assembled again by the PI here at Weltec, Dr. Balasubramaniam. And this will be a very unique UAV. I'm told he's the expert on this. But this UAV will have very high payloads. So much more than the usual payloads that can be.
Just give the background.
And
could I just give a small bit of background for the coverage? See, fundamentally the program called IC Impacts has been configured to provide on-the-ground solutions for the community. And they happen under 3 categories. The first category is water management, including the clean water. Second one is the public health, especially those diseases which are related to the unclean water. How do you sense them using low-cost sensors? For example, the presence of E. coli, chlorine, etc., etc. The third part is a safe infrastructure. And to add to whatever Dr. Rishi mentioned, the conservative estimate of the number of long-span bridges in India and Canada put together is 50,000 plus. There are 50,000 plus bridges, and majority of them under railways. And you can imagine, especially in the case of bridges which are in the inaccessible regions, and if they have long span, the inspection is being done in a very routine and rudimentary manner through visual means.
Manual.
Yeah. And most of the time, manual means are not possible if it is an inaccessible zone. So the primary focus of our association between Weldtech University and University of Victoria is how can we deploy technologies involving unmanned air vehicles, sensors, networks, electronic systems, in terms of getting the in-street data on the bridges, which is called technically as structural health monitoring. What exactly it means is, imagine that there is an onset of a crack or a structural member getting affected by corrosion. Can we immediately suspend the operations of the bridge, or is there a possibility of maintaining a vigil on the bridge up to such a level that it can be declared as a safe? So the entire process of integrating the sensors into this protocol is being done in a collaborative manner by Weldtech students and the University of Victoria students. Dr. Rishi with him carries nearly 2 decades of experience, international experience in structures, health monitoring of the structures, and civil engineering materials. We from Weldtech carry excellence in the development of unmanned air vehicles and sensors. So it's a synergistic combination of these 2 institutions working under the aegis of IC Impacts. As has been rightly mentioned by Dr. Rishi, it doesn't involve in the development of a technology or protocol. It has to be proved on the ground in terms of giving imminent benefits to the stakeholders, which in this case happens to be the users of the bridge, which is the community. So we have chosen Indian Railways as a partner in India and the Department of Transport in Canada. So post-development, deploying these technologies on the health monitoring of the bridges is going to be the matter of direct benefit to the stakeholders.
When did you conduct the first inspection?
I would, conservatively, I would say about a year from now.
See, one question. When you say 50,000 bridges and the length of the right track bridges in this country is a very humongous kind of a size.
Correct.
Is it going to be a pilot thing, or are you going to cover the stretch from Kashmir to Kanyakumari?
No. This project comes with very fixed template. We need to develop the technology, we need to develop the process and demonstrate the feasibility of using the technology on a so even in this case, the same technology can be used. So in a representative manner, we will be picking up one bridge, one structure in India, same thing in Canada, and demonstrating the process.
Which bridge? Have you identified the location?
No, actually, we have not identified the specific bridge. We have identified railways as a stakeholder, and subject to the clearances from the railways, we will be picking up the South Central Railway. Is it correct? South Central Railway or South Central Railway? Yeah.
And one more thing. We are talking about a healthy exchange of students right from undergrad to postgrad.
That's right.
And postdoctorate.
Yeah.
Can you place a number as to over the 3 years, how many will be exposed to and fro?
Yeah. Actually, if you are talking about the Weldtech system, at this moment there are about 35 students who are in the internship programs abroad. What is the point of importance is nearly 50% of them have got the financial support from the hosting institutions, which is very remarkable. Students spending money on their own and going there is one part of the story. But
You're talking about this particular project?
this particular project started only 3 months ago. Okay.
Have you identified, enlisted the students who are the eligible ones to take the...
Yeah. There will be a couple of students from our level, couple of students from Canada who will be exchanged.
At the end of it all, how many students will be exposed? What do you think it's about?
Okay, there are 3 elements in this case. One element is a research, which is done by the postgraduate or PhD level students, which might be limited to about 3 or 4. Second level is capacity building, which will happen in the form of a training. Third level is a miniature, projects, which could be done by the undergraduate students. That I would give an estimate of maybe 30-40 people, depending upon the traction between the students and the program. So it's a 3-year program. So I would put at least some 10 to 15 students per year. Okay.
Capacity building, how many students do you think is...
It's not actually the students alone. it's also open to the personnel who are involved in the inspection of the bridges. So I would assume that it could be as many as the number of programs that we conduct.
Rishi, how many years will it take to complete all the bridges process in India?
But that's a very difficult question to answer. First of all, our project is scoped for 3 years actually at the moment. So I think what is important is to implement the technology that we develop as a pilot. And we are hoping that the end of the 3 years will be successful, because like was being discussed before, there is at least one example in Canada where a bridge was inspected on a Friday and that bridge actually collapsed in a couple of days after that. So we are hoping that we will have a pilot system in place in 3 years, which can actually be extrapolated to n number of bridges across both countries. Now what's important to remember is there is no one solution to solve the problem completely, but we are hoping that we can at least come up with very simple methods where an unmanned aerial vehicle could be set aside for a particular flight. The most other important aspect is the same flight pattern can be repeated multiple times. So you may know the condition of your bridge today, which may seem okay, but you could run the exact same flight path 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, and you can compare what the differences are over a period of time. So with UAV mounted technology to create a very safe environment for condition assessment. Otherwise, imagine a person suspended 100 feet under the bridge trying to look for things that cannot be seen. So we have techniques which can be used which go beyond the surface. And as an example, I'm sure you've seen CID and CSI with infrared techniques, for example. So we are hoping to use techniques that can show things that are not visible to naked eye.
How big is the UAV size? Size of the flight?
1.5 meter.
The diameter will be about 1.5 meters, and we are looking at this is also called, and I'm speaking Dr. Bala's words here, multi-rotor UAVs. So it could be 4 or even 6 in certain situations. So these are high capacity because they can carry a higher payload.
And initially they are in RC mode and
Initially, we could deploy it in the RC control mode, and the ultimate aim would be to make them autonomous. Fundamentally, when you've got a bridge, when you've got a vehicle, if you can program the entire thing, you should be able to repeat the inspection routine without any manual input. So those systems are called completely autonomous systems. That's where the world is moving.
So apart from railways, who are other partners now?
Yeah, the other partners are from the sensors world, called National Instruments from Canada. And fundamentally, when you look at the deployment of the technology, we could deploy the technology for any heritage structure where we can get the clearance. So getting the clearance is also one of the challenges because these are all public properties.
And the 20 crore fund allocated for the research in your university.
Yeah, the funding has come from predominantly 3 sources. The first source being the Ministry of Defence, DRDO. The second one is from the Department of Science and Technology, as has been indicated by the Vice Chancellor. We have got one unique model of enabling the startups. Recently, PM Garu would announce this at Startup India, Stand Up India. So this particular, let's say the impetus started in our university 2 years ago. There is a lot of electronic waste which is being generated, especially in the metros. The useless mobile phones, the laptops, printers, etc., etc. How do you recycle them and process them and get precious metals out of them, plastics that can be recycled, and can you create entrepreneurial models around them? So this is called Technology Business Incubator. So we have set up one Technology Business Incubator in our campus and opened up the doors for nearly 20 startup companies who could use the infrastructure in the university for developing the models on e-waste monitoring and make money out of it. Okay, so that is one of the big funded project. And besides these two, we are working with the Taiwanese partners and a program called GITA, Global Innovation and Technology Alliance, GITA.
explain this, sir.
So wherein the development of ornithopters is the primary mandate, that is bird-like flying creatures. And now with Dr. Rishi's group, we are working on developing the unmanned aircraft.
Has
So
this railway project that you're taking up, has this been done elsewhere in the world? Or is this the first of its kind?
Not we are aware of. I will say what is unique and what is not unique, I will straight away explain. What is unique in this project is integrating sensors into the UAV and getting the data in situ. That is unique. What is not unique is there are people who have got access to unmanned air vehicles, there are people who have got access to the non-destructive inspection techniques. So that these are established things. Integrating them and putting for the bridge is the uniqueness.
సార్ ఇందులో మీరు ఈ అన్మ్యాన్ ఎయిర్ వెహికల్ మీరు ఒక 4 years బ్యాక్ ఒక పేపర్లో ఒక అడ్వర్టైజ్మెంట్ మీరు కూడా అవేర్ అయి ఉంటారు దాంట్లో ఈ ట్రాన్స్మిషన్ లైన్ డిపార్ట్మెంట్ సెంట్రల్ గవర్నమెంట్ నుంచి అడ్వర్టైజ్మెంట్ ఏంటంటే ఈ కరోషన్ లాసెస్ ఐడెంటిఫై చేసేది ఈ హిల్ స్టేషన్లో పోయి మనం ఒక మ్యాన్ పవర్ పంపించేది ఇట్స్ వెరీ డిఫికల్ట్. దానికి ఒక ఐడియా ఏమని చెప్పి ఓపెన్ అడ్వర్టైజ్మెంట్ ఫర్ ఇన్వైటింగ్ స్టూడెంట్స్. సో దిస్ కాంపిటీషన్కి వచ్చి ఐఐటీస్ అందరూ ఉన్నారు, ఎన్ఐటీస్, ప్రైవేట్ యూనివర్సిటీస్, గవర్నమెంట్ యూనివర్సిటీస్. అయితే మా స్టూడెంట్స్ అన్మ్యాన్డ్ ఎయిర్ వెహికల్ అలాంగ్ విత్ ద రోబో. సో ఈ రోబో వచ్చి ఈ హిల్ స్టేషన్లో మీరు ఈ యొక్క ల్యాప్టాప్తో మీరు ఆపరేట్ చేసి దాన్ని అక్కడ కుక్ చేసుకుని అక్కడున్న కరోషన్ లాసెస్ ఐడెంటిఫై చేసి మళ్ళీ దాన్ని రిపేర్ చేసి నెక్స్ట్ లైన్కి వెళ్తుంది. సో వీఆర్ వెరీ స్ట్రాంగ్ టెక్నాలజీ ఇన్ దిస్. పాస్ట్ ఒక 5 years నుంచి దానికి ఇండియాస్ నెంబర్ 1 ప్రైజ్ తీసుకున్నామండి. మా సెకండ్ ఎవరు వచ్చారంటే సెకండ్ దానికి ఐఐటి ఖరగ్పూర్. యాక్చువల్లీ 5 lakhs మా గవర్నమెంట్ ఇస్తే దాని రిక్వైజేషన్లో 50% వాళ్ళు. సో నెక్స్ట్ హీ సెడ్ అబౌట్ ద ornithopter and నెక్స్ట్ సెడ్ e-waste station. 7 crore we have invested on that. Please visit our campus, we will feel very happy. So for example, 1 container of CPUs, you put it inside that. So you can extract 9 lakh worth of from CPUs. So the thing is in that precious metal, silver, copper, lead, everything we can extract. So the incubator capacity we are developing the students. Already startup my students in 14 companies to 20 companies started already. They are doing business with them. So almost like he said 20 crores now existing, infrastructure wise what we invested is almost I can tell only 100 crores. ఎందుకంటే ఈ ఇండియాలో ఫస్ట్ మేము ఎయిర్ క్రాఫ్ట్ బేరింగ్ నెంబర్ 3 టెస్టింగ్ సెంటర్ 20,000, 20 to 20,000, 25,000 RPM speed any revolving element bearing testing center we invented for the DRDO is available in our campus. Now we already doing one of project with Indo-Taiwan on ornithopter in the bird concept. వాళ్ళతో టైప్ అయ్యి మేము we are increasing the capacity of that 25,000 each 40,000 we are, and we got future plan also 5G lab also we are going to start. We want to be in that.
Can you elaborate on?
So 5G laboratory, Dr. Bala, can you come and explain about that whatever? Okay. So there are professors involving in that. We are going to bring that 5G concept. అది ఎట్లాగంటే ఈ యొక్క అన్మాన్డ్ ఆర్నిథాప్టర్ ఈ అన్మాన్డ్ ఎయిర్ వెహికల్కి యూటిలైజ్ అయ్యే కెపాసిటీకి యూజ్ చేసేదానికి ఈ 5G కాన్సెప్ట్ వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు బ్రింగ్. బట్ ఇట్ విల్ టేక్ టైమ్. దట్స్ జస్ట్ ఎ బిగ్ ప్రాసెస్.